Hi, I'm Felix. March is Women in History Month. Students in the 7th grade social studies classes gave oral reports on famous women in history. We would like to present a few of these reports. First would be Laura Zonia. Second, Tony Damaris. Third, Shane Pizzuti. And fourth, Megan Benvenuti.
My woman was Maria Montessori. She was born in Cavalier, Italy, August 31st, 1870, and died in Norwood, Holland, May 6, 1952. Believing that her methods would be even more effective with normal children, in 1907 she opened the first Montessori school for learning in a slum section of Rome. Maria herself was educated at the University of Rome in 1896. She received the first medical degree given to a woman in Italy. She joined the university staff as a lecturer in autotrophy, but soon became closely associated with the psychiatric clinic. In Springfield, Massachusetts, there are Montessori schools, and they teach the Montessori method of learning, which are 2 lessons. Number 1, the duty of the teacher is to help, not to judge. Number 2, true mental work gives nourishment to the inner spirit. The philosophy at Springfield and the ones in our community is simple: let children learn at their own pace. This philosophy is greatly appreciated, not only in Montessori schools, but also schools around us. Maria Montessori is truly a legacy.
Clara Barton, or Angel of the Battlefield, as she became to be known from her service as a nurse on the brutal battlefields of the Civil War, was born only 15 minutes from here in North Oxford, Mass. Clara was born on December 25, 1821, the daughter of Sarah and Stephen Stone. When she was a child, she loved playing nurse. She also took care of pets that were sick or injured. At about the age of 11, Clara had to nurse her brother David back to health after being cracked from under him during a barn raising. Later, David recovered. During her childhood, she dreamt of becoming a teacher. This dream came true when she was 15 years old. She became such a good teacher that every year she was offered a new and better school. When she was 30, she got a job teaching in Bordertown, New Jersey. During the Civil War, she became a battlefield nurse. She delivered medical supplies and food. Also, she stayed with the injured until they were carried to safety. That is how she earned her nickname. During a trip to Europe, she volunteered for the International Red Cross. She helped refugees of the Franco-Prussian War in Paris and other cities. She returned to the U.S. in 1873. In 1877, the International Red Cross asked her to establish the American Red Cross. For the next 25 years, she organized and led the Red Cross. She personally led relief expeditions for people who had fallen victim of floods, war, hurricanes, and fires. She is remembered for her great humanitarian accomplishments and the firm leadership of the American Red Cross. Clara died on April 12, 1912.
During the years of the Holocaust, a bright young Jewish girl had to hide for her life in a small Amsterdam attic. Her name was Anne Frank. Anne Frank was born on June 12, 1929 in Frankfurt, Germany. Anne's parents' names are Otto Frank and Edith Frank. During this time, a man named Adolf Hitler was trying to get rid of all the Jews and try to take over the world while creating a master race of blonde-haired, blue-eyed Germans. Anne was the second daughter in the family. When the Nazis came to power in 1933, the Franks left Germany for the Netherlands, settling in Amsterdam. When the Nazis invaded the Netherlands in 1940, it brought Anne's childhood to a premature end. Under the Nazi rule, Jews were forbidden to go to school with non-Jews. Jews were forced to change schools, going to a Jewish monastery school. Jews were forbidden to go out after 8 p.m. When Anne was 13, she received a diary for her birthday. In this diary, she wrote her experiences living in an attic while the Holocaust was going on. This diary was later published in 1947. In 1944, Hitler's special police arrested the Franks. The diary was knocked to the floor in the attic. The diary was recovered by Miep Gies, a Dutch friend who had been helping the Franks survive their ordeal. The Franks were taken to a concentration camp. Everyone that was living in the apartment had died except for Anne's father, Otto Frank. Miep Gies later gave Otto Anne's diary. Otto fulfilled Anne's dream of finally publishing her diary of Anne Frank, the Diary of Anne Frank. Anne died in 1945.
My person is Susan B. Anthony. Susan B. Anthony was born on February 15, 1820. Susan was born in Adams, Mass. She was born second out of 7 children. In 1826, the family moved to Bentonville, New York. When Susan was 18 years old, their father, Daniel Anthony, took her and her sister, the oldest, out of school because in 1838 a depression had caused him to declare bankruptcy and they lost their home. In 1845, the family moved to Rochester, New York, which is on the Erie Canal. The house wound up being a meeting place where people who were against slavery met. One of these people included Frederick Douglass. Susan began teaching at Kanahori Academy in 1846. She made $110 a year. In 1851, which was an important year, she got together with Amelia Bloomer, and she heard William Lloyd Garrison and George Thompson, and one of the most important things, met Elizabeth Cady Stanton, who helped her get women's right to vote. Susan goes to her first women's right convention in 1852. By this time, she is 32. She starts handing out petitions for married women's property rights and women's suffrage, which would include not being able to work and not being able to vote. When she asks to speak at the Capitol, she is refused. She is also refused at Smithsonian in Washington. Finally, she begins her campaign for women's suffrage in Mayville, Chautauqua County. She travels and spoke alone. In 1856, she became an agent for the American Anti-Slavery Society. At one of the New York State Teachers' Conventions, she asked to get education for women and blacks. In 1861, in which she is now 41, she conducts a campaign for anti-slavery that goes from Buffalo to Albany. It says, "No union with slaveholders, no compromise." And Anthony and Stanton write, "Appeal to the women of the Republic," which means pretty much the same as women should be treated equally. Susan begins to publicate the revolution and working on women's associations. In 1869, the first women's suffrage convention happened in Washington, D.C. In 1872, Susan was arrested because she voted, but that did still not keep her away from teaching and going to the conventions. The year after, she is fined $100 after being ordered guilty by the judge. She refused to pay, but is not put in prison. In 1881, the first volume of The History of Women's Suffrage was published by Anthony Stanton and Matilda Jolyon Gage. This volume is followed by volumes 2, 3, and 4 in 1882, 1885, and 1902. When Susan was 77, she raised the roof on her house to create a workroom where she and Ida Houston Harper started working on her biography. In 1898, The Life and Work of Susan B. Anthony, a story of evolution of the status of women, gets published. When she was 80, she used all of her money on life insurance to meet the University of Rochester's financial demand for admission of women. In 1905, Susan B. Anthony meets President Theodore Roosevelt about allowing a suffrage amendment to Congress. In 1906, when she was 86, she attended the suffrage hearing in Washington, D.C. She gave her Failure is Impossible speech at her 86th birthday celebration. On March 13th, she dies at her Madison home. Nowadays, you can find her picture on a coin that is worth $1.
Today we have guests on Teen Vid News. Jonathan Visser is going to speak to us about Project Pride, which begins this Saturday on April 4th. What is Project Pride?
Well, Project Pride is something that I, along with Mark Karen, developed last year. It's an activity that we thought could get the youth of the community involved in helping the community. Project Pride happens on Saturday mornings, and the kids come out and pick up trash, basically. We come together as a group, and we try to clean up the streets of Southbridge. So that's what Project Pride is.
Who is involved?
Anybody can be involved. We originally targeted just for the kids, the youth of the community of Southbridge, but last year we had a lot of parents and kids in strollers, some older people, so just about anybody can come out and volunteer.
When does this happen?
It's going to happen every Saturday from April through September. We meet at Friendly's in Southbridge in the parking lot behind Friendly's, and usually starts at 9 a.m. We usually finish up about 11, but this Saturday it's going to start at 8 because we're going to run in conjunction with Healthy Kids Day at the YMCA.
Are there any incentive for kids getting involved?
Yeah, one of the biggest incentives is the pride that you feel in giving back to your community. But we also have other incentives like ice cream sundaes and pizzas and things like that for the kids that help out. And everybody that comes out gets a T-shirt, and they can wear that T-shirt every Saturday, or they can just get involved and help out. You know, they don't have to do it for the incentives. You can just do it to give back to your community. But we do have incentives for the kids, yes.
And thank you. I'm Jerry Plaza reporting from TVIT News.
We'll now pause for these public service announcements.
Here's my nephew Scruff about to run into trouble again.
Hey, Bobo, where's your video game? In here. Well, look at this. Uh-oh. It's my dad's. So want to hold it? What'll I do?
If you get my new comic activity book, More Adventures with Scruff, you'll find out what you can do about bullies and guns. And you'll see lots of games.
Cool.
For your free copy of my new comic activity book, just write Scruff McGruff, Chicago, Illinois, 60652, and help take a bite out of crime.
I want it. I want it.
Don't you love that safe, free feeling you get in a pickup truck, Larry?
Yeah, nothing but you, me, the open road, a deer.
Yeah! A cow! Yeah! An ostrich! The village people! The village people?
You could learn a lot from a dummy. Buckle your safety belt.
Especially in pickup trucks.
I didn't know the village people were doing a road tour.
We also have some members of the newly formed Octagon Club. What is the Octagon Club?
My name is Brian Langevin. The Octagon Club is a service-based organization formed in the high schools of towns and cities all across the United States and Canada. The purpose is basically to help in the community and do whatever they can.
What will it do?
The Octagon Club is going to go out into the community, and we're going to help out as much as we can.
How many members does it have?
The Octagon Club has 32 members now. When we started a couple weeks ago, we had 31, and more people are showing interest, so as they show interest, we'll add more members.
Are there any projects underway?
No. Not at the present time, but we were talking about helping out with Project Pride.
Are there any plans to form any more of these type of clubs?
Yes, we were talking about forming a similar club at this school and also down at West Street School. And there was also talk of forming another Optimist Club in the Sturbridge area.
And thank you. I'm Joey Plaza reporting from TVIT News.
Hi, I'm Willie with some educational news. On Monday, April 6th, there will be a meeting for parents, guardians, and students at the Southbridge High School auditorium. This meeting will be an informational presentation. This meeting is about the annual state testing for students in grades 4, 8, and 10. The test will be given for the first time this May. A passing score on grade 10 tests will be required for graduation within the next 3 years. If you want to find out more about the testing program, plan to attend this meeting. I will report for TVIT News.
The Southbridge Optimist Club is once again sponsoring its annual oratorical contest. This year's topic is My Commitment to the Future. The date is April 30th, the place, Town Hall in Southbridge. More information to come. next week. And I'm Melissa Wilson reporting for Teen Vid News.
Hi, I'm Mrs. Rossioli with a little bit of a movie analysis. Mrs. Davis, our health teacher, was doing a unit on violence, and she started talking about some of the movies that are out today that children are able to see. The movie she analyzed was the movie Scream. I've heard so many of my kids talking about this movie, actually. Scream 1, and then I guess there's another one now, Scream 2. But getting back to the movie here, it's a Wes Craven film. The rating on it is R. A quote from the film, "Movies don't create psychos, they make psychos more creative." And this is Mrs. Davis's analysis. After watching the movie Scream, I tallied approximately 56 incidents of a violent nature. The death toll was quite high, with the method of killing increasingly more heinous. Examples of violent acts were punching, stabbing, choking, kicking, hitting, hanging, gutting, filleting of bodies, guillotining in an automatic garage door opener, tackling, biting, and dropping a TV on someone's head. Forms of abuse were not only physical, but also emotional and psychological, as the killers played cat and mouse with their victims. Scream was not without foul language. I lost track after 30 to 35 examples. My question to parents out there, how many of you have let your children go and see this type of movie? And I'm Mrs. Rossioli, reporting for Teen Vid News.
No, you have to. The Cops and Kids All-Star team continues to roll with another win last week against a team of kids from Southbridge High School. The Cops and Kids team won a thriller 105-104. With the All-Stars down 104-102 with .6 seconds left, George Santiago was fouled while attempting a three-point shot. With no time left in the game, Santiago, standing alone in the free throw line, had a chance to shoot 3 free throws to win the game. With the gym so quiet, you can hear a pin drop. The pressure was on. Santiago was in the zone alone. Santiago made all free throws and sent the crowd at the gym into a complete frenzy, with players and fellow students hugging and yelling as they had just won a championship. The Cops and Kids All-Stars record is now 6 wins and 4 losses. I'm Alex Rosa reporting to you for Teen Vid News.
Now let's go up to Sonny McMahon Field, where Sean Moriarty is on the field to report on the Southbridge Pioneers baseball team.
Thanks, Miranda. The Southbridge High School Pioneers baseball team were invited to the Rough Riders baseball tournament this past weekend at the Cape. 10 teams participated in the tourney from all over the state. 18 players, coaches, and many parents and fans went down to the Cape on Friday night as the Pioneers, who were to play 3 games on Saturday. Head coach Mario Marcucci said that the weekend tournament was a success and had a great head start to the upcoming season. Coach Marcucci also said that he was pleased with the showing of parents and fan support that followed the team down, and wanted to thank the parents that used their own vehicles to transport the players down to the Cape for the game to 3 different fields on the Cape. Monies for the expense of the lodging for the players was raised by players through fundraisers, and Coach Mario Marcucci would like to thank anyone who contributed and supported Southbridge High School baseball. I'll be back with the results of the games and also an interview with starting Pioneers pitcher Jed Trifoni, whose arm and bat were on fire on the Cape. So please stay tuned as we take a break for these public service announcements.
Where's Michael?
National Guard duty.
Ah, bet he's just sandbagging.
I don't think so.
Sure he is. He left us with all the big fires to put out.
Over 52% of our military is made up of the National Guard and Reserve. They serve in times of war and in times of disaster. And the jobs they perform are hard enough, without you making it harder.
Well, let's hope he's ready for some late nights when he gets back.
Please support your employees in the National Guard and Reserve.
"20 kids. For 1 hour a week, you leave your concrete world of flip phones and faxes and talk to 20 kids about how business works. They will question everything, but those 20 kids will talk to 20 more. So by Saturday, what you said on Thursday could be halfway around their world. you get to make a difference. Could just make the rest of your week pretty dull. That's the new JA, teaching kids how business works.
I'm back here at McMahon Field where the Southbridge High School Pioneer baseball team is practicing. The team did well down at the Cape tournament, and here are the results. Just to note, all the games were 1.5 hours time limit games, as most of the games did not go to 7 innings. In the first game, played Saturday morning at 9:30 a.m., the Pioneers played to a 2-2 tie against a very good Newport team. Coach Marcucci said that he mainly played only starting varsity players in that game. In the second game, played at 12 noon against Cape Cod Tech, the Pioneers lost 6-2. After having a 2-0 lead, Coach Marcucci started to use all his players, including pitchers Jared Bory and Chris Iozzo. Each player was used. In the third game, played at 2 p.m. against Quabbin High, the Pioneers lost 2-0. It was a long day playing 3 games, but the kids loved every minute of it, said Coach Marcucci. Coach Marcucci did say that Jeremy Tower, the Pioneer starting catcher, was 3 for 3 throwing out base runners and had a triple at the plate and a great pitching performance from Steve Primack, and Chris Roy kept the game close. Jed Giafoni was also great on the mound and hot at the plate, going 4 for 5, batting with a double. And speaking of Jed Giafoni, here he is as our guest on Team Vid News. Jed, first of all, congratulations on a fine hitting performance at the Cape Cod tournament. Jed, was this the first time going into a tournament like this?
Yes, it was.
Do you think the team as a whole got something out of this playing at the Cape, and what?
Yes, it was our first time on the field since we were in the gym because of the snow and the rain and stuff. But we really had a good time.
Jed, what major league player do you like to be like, and why?
Roger Clemens, because he's a really good pitcher. His technique, his form. He's a really good pitcher.
Thanks for taking time to stop by and talking to us, Jed. And I'll let you get back to that rigorous practice that Coach Mario Marcucci conducts. I want to correct something I said last week. I stated that Dave Centennial was the JV coach, but in fact Dave Centennial is the assistant coach to the varsity team. Mike Hooker is the JV coach. Well, that's it from McMahon Field, where the SHS Pioneers baseball team is practicing. And stay tuned to Channel 11 this year for SHS Pioneer baseball coverage.
Hi, I'm Jonathan Vizard. I am the Vice President of the Southbridge Optimist Club, and I'd like to talk to you a little bit about the Southbridge Optimist Club. I don't know if everybody should be familiar with us by now, but if you're not, our motto is Friend of Youth. We've been in town since 1985. We are one of the biggest youth-serving organizations in the world. We're always looking for new members. Our meetings are every second and fourth Wednesday of the month down at the Casabon Senior Center. They start at 7 o'clock. If you'd just like to come in and see what we're about, or if you know an optimist, approach them if you'd like to become a member. It's a lot of fun. We do a lot for the kids in the community, and we look forward to having you come down and check us out. So, like I said, it's every second and fourth Wednesday of the month at 7 o'clock at the Casabon Senior Center. Come on down and we'll answer any questions you have and maybe add some more questions. Thank you.
Unlike the world of past, our kids grow up too fast. So what they see in store is the threats of bombs and war. And the deadly game they're taught is that happiness is bought. So the children of today haven't time for child's play. They feel they're all alone, and even strangers
Vizard and Mark Karen. Did I say that right? Vizard? All right, and they are with Project Pride, actually the creators and co-founders. And could you tell us more about Project Pride?
Last year, Mark came to me with an idea to do something in the community. We tried to incorporate something within the kids. And we just kind of put our heads together. Over the whole winter, we came up with it. It's a family activity. You can get out there with your kids and your husband or your cousins or whatever, and just come out on Saturday and participate. And you can do something for the town, give back to your community. One thing it does is by instilling pride in your children and in yourselves through picking up trash. It seems kind of ridiculous, but if you can develop pride in your community, you can develop pride in yourself. And that's what we're modeling this after. That's our goal, to change the focus of the kids' attention to instead of, I mean, even some of the kids, you know, that participated week after week would start to yell at the other kids that were throwing trash down after a while. It was a great feeling. It really was.
If people want to get in touch with Project Pride, how do they contact you?
John Vizard?
They can contact me at 764-8381. We're going to be sending flyers around to the schools as well. It's a family activity. You can get out there with your kids and your husband or your cousins or whatever, and just come out on Saturday and participate. And you can do something. Our kickoff date is April 4th. It's going to be before Healthy Kids Day. So if you come out and at 8 o'clock, we're going to be meeting at Friendly's. There's a rumor that there might be some swimming involved. If the kids come out with their families, the families can go to family swim at the YMCA after Healthy Kids Day. So come on out and see what we're about, and we look forward to seeing you.
All right, great. Thank you very much, Mark Cannon, Jonathan Vizard, if I can say that properly. And thank you for showing up here, Cable Access Channel 11 Southbridge.
The tasters tasted every stew, and when they finished that but true, not a cook had made good stew, not a soul knew what to do. Each sat down and hung his head, not a word was heard or said, until a young boy's voice sang true.
they come. It was green alligators along the east. Some dirty backyards and some chimpanzees. Some cats and rats and elephants, as sure as you're born. The loneliest of all was the unicorn. And God seen some sense, and it gave him pain. And he says, stand back, I want to make it rain. He says, hey, brother Noah, I'll tell you what to do. Build me a floating zoo, and take some of them green alligators along the east. Some humpty-back camels and some chimpanzees. Some cats and rats and elephants, but sure as you're born, don't you forget my unicorn. Old Noah was there to answer the call. He finished up making the ark just as the rain started falling. He marched in the animals 2 by 2, and he called out as they went through. Hey Lord, some green alligators along the east. Some humpty-back camels and some chimpanzees. Some cats and rats and elephants, but Lord's over all. I just can't see no unicorn. And Noah looked out through the driving rain. Them unicorns were hiding, playing silly games, kicking and splashing while the rain was falling. Oh, them silly unicorns, screaming alligators along the east. Some humpty-back camels and some chimpanzees. No black rose at all as the rain was falling, and we just can't wait to unicorn. The ark started moving, it drifted with the tide. The unicorns looked up from the rocks like that, and the waters came down and sort of blew them away. That's why you never saw them again. You'll see green alligators along the east. Some humpty-back camels and some chimpanzees. Some cats and rats and elephants, but sure as you're born, you're never gonna see no unicorn.
these are the drugs that you may start to use. And these are the ones I don't want you using.
Drug Abuse Resistance Education.
Keep your friends that are real friends.
Every week, the police officers of DARE are teaching our children how to resist the pressures to use drugs.
Everyone's doing it. No.
Let's get out of here.
No simple slogans with easy answers.
Remember, I want you to stay safe because I want to see you again.
Dare to make a difference.
Thanks for watching Teen Vit News.
Send your comments or suggestions to the Southbridge Police Department, 1 Mechanic Street, Southbridge, Mass. 01550.
Or you can call the Cable 11 studio at 765-1525 and leave your message. And we'll see you the next time around.
Thanks for telling me. You said what's up? Southbridge High Baseball. Catch it here on Channel 11 Sports.